All right, guys. I was trying to give everybody a minute before they got in the room. So I'm going to give it about 15 more seconds. Let's see. Make sure I plug this up. So tonight's broadcast, we're going to try to keep it short because most of you guys have been on the internet forever. And so it should be obvious that, you can promote your podcast online. If you've been on social media for more than 5, 10 years, whatever the case may be, then you already kind of got an idea that these social media platforms is where you want to promote your podcast. So, this episode tonight, as you guys can see, I am in a new space, a new area, new Yes, yes, I am. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into this video and keep it short for you guys. Again, this is going to be in the guide section. I believe it's going to be guides 5 or guide 6. And this is something you can always come back to and reference. So I'm gonna try to go over everything. Most of the stuff I know off the top of my head, but I'm gonna show you some of the obvious and some of the not so obvious. But these are all gonna be ways that you can promote your podcast on social media, make it branded, and do all your promoting so that you can get those people to listen to you, get those people to download, get those people to subscribe. And if you have any merch or digital products that you also want to sell, then you can also be able to do that through these methods that I'm going to show you. So, first things first is to promote your podcast, you want to be a guest. Okay, so what do I mean by be a guest? Be our guest, be our guest. That's what I mean by be a guest. You need to be on somebody else's podcast. So, you're probably thinking, well, how do I be on somebody else's podcast? Well, I had a module about that. How to get guests. The same way you get guests is same way that you become a guest. So some of those methods are you want to find out who you know already. Believe it or not, a lot of people have podcasts and you probably don't even know it. So figure out who you know already. Maybe you have some friends on your Facebook timeline. Maybe you have friends on Instagram that run a podcast. Somebody you know, trust and believe they're doing a podcast. So if they can come up with an episode with your niche, or maybe you can pitch an episode for them, then you can be on their podcast, be on there, and then you can slide in and be like, whoop de whoop whoop, listen to my podcast. It is here. Another way to become a guest on somebody else's podcast is joining Facebook groups. If you join Facebook groups, there's plenty of Facebook groups for podcasters to promote their podcast. One I'm a part of is the Black Podcast Network. It's really nice. So it's ways where you can not only promote your podcast, but also direct people, to your website or whatever the case may be. So, those are two ways that you can become a guest on somebody's podcast. And let's remember this, guys. No one charges you to be on a podcast. Okay, just like on a radio. I worked in radio for 2.5 years. We didn't pay to have people on our radio show. That's not how it worked. We didn't pay anybody to go live with us. Like that's not what they do. Because when you go on a radio show, when you go on a podcast, it's always a self-promoting thing. So nobody's looking for you to pay them. All right. And you don't pay other people. It just don't work like that. Everything is a self-promotion that goes, basically work both ways. You're giving them an episode, right? You're giving them content because you're becoming a guest on their show, and you're in exchange you're getting a chance to promote your show. So the beauty of podcasting is the more you are a guest on others people's podcasts, the more you can promote yours. So that's a good one, and that's actually kind of an easy one. So definitely look into that one. Next up is going to be a Facebook and Instagram business suite. Now this one is something that I really love because a lot of people, believe it or not, don't realize that Facebook and Instagram is owned by the same company. And the reason why this is a good way to promote your podcast is because you want to create individual pages for your podcast. If you're really serious about your podcast and you really want this thing to make some money for you, and you really want to be serious about it, really feel like you a brand, then you definitely want to set up an individual Facebook like/fan page. I don't know what the heck they're calling it nowadays, but also set you up an Instagram page. Now, you can link that Instagram page directly to the Facebook page, and that is going to make it easier for you to promote your podcast because you can develop a strategy, right? Use some SEO, use some hashtags, and that's how you can promote your podcast because Facebook has a thing called the business suite, and you can basically schedule your posts throughout the week. So again, this makes it easy for you, so it won't be like it's hard work. This won't be like it's something like, oh, this is a freaking chore. This is not what I thought it was going to be. So, again, you can schedule your post ahead of time, a week ahead. If you know your podcast episode is dropping on Friday, guess what? We about to start scheduling on Monday. See how many people, see how many people we can get to, come into our show before it comes out on Friday. So you want to start teasing it. You want to drop snippets. You want to drop quotes. You want to drop videos. You want to drop memes, whatever the case may be. So, um, that's the best thing about having a Facebook and Instagram. And again, you want this stuff to be branded, aka have the same name. You can't be called let me see, if I got a podcast that's about marketing, right? I can't have my podcast that's called Marketing for All, and then my Facebook fan page is called Marketing for All, but then my Instagram is called Marketing for Your Cousin. Like, this is not what we do. You want to stick with those brands, stick with your colors, whatever you come up with. You want to make sure you stick to the same fonts, the same color scheme. That's 3 to 4 colors, right? A dark, a medium dark, a light, and a white and a black, right? So you want to stick to your color scheme, and you want to stick to the same font and make sure you promote it the same, right? Because it's just like, think about Coca-Cola. Even if Coca-Cola did not say Coca-Cola, you know Coca-Cola because of that font. Am I lying? No, I'm not. So you want to make sure when you start this, you want to kind of stay on brand because people associate with brands. They fall in love with brands, and they fall in love with you. So the benefits of that is, if you want to, you can spend $5 or $10. Say, you made an extra $10 this month on your podcast. Let's say you made $20 on your podcast. If you like to, you can literally put that money onto a Facebook ad, and Facebook will run ads either on Facebook or on Instagram. And you can say, bam, I want you to spend $5 a day, promote my like page, $5 a day, promote my link. And you can do all that if you have a Facebook and an Instagram page that is connected to your podcast. You definitely want to do this. It's the best way to do it, and get those likes up and get those views up, because podcast is growing, and it's a way to make it seem as if it is your own mini brand. Okay, and along with that, you want to make sure you create your own hashtags when you start promoting on Facebook and Instagram. Whatever your podcast is, you can basically kind of sit up there and put like these things that's like, oh, hashtag marketing for you, hashtag marketing, and then you can see how many people use the hashtag, so the snippet for your podcast pops up, right? So, again, if you guys don't understand what I mean by strategy, I can explain exactly what a social media strategy is. If you guys like, you can always put that in the comments. If not, you can always Google things like this. I love a good strategy, but a good strategy for me, I would say, when it comes to podcasting, is pulling a quote, right? Because we know Instagram love a quote. Pull a quote from your podcast, something that you said, maybe something that your guest said. Pull a quote, so post that. And again, you can use Canva to do this. Post a quote using your branding colors. Then you want to do an audio snippet, right? And I'm gonna tell you how to do that next. Do an audio snippet, and then after you do the audio snippet, again, 2-3 times a day. So quote, audio snippet, Do a meme like the look on my face when I said whoop, or the look on your face when you heard episode 3, something like that. You can always make funny memes. Do a video during the week. I would say do like a reel or go live, something that relates maybe to the topic. So let's say I had an episode where I was talking about, getting my first dog, right? This again, off the top of my head, guys. I'm doing an episode about me getting my first dog and how traumatized it was. So now I'm about to do me a reel, and that reel is like following the trend or following the hashtag. And that reel, I'm doing facts, doing that, the pointing one they do. Facts of owning the dogs, you need dog pads, they stink, they eat a lot, whatever. And then so reels always get you a lot of views on Instagram. Trust and believe me when I say if you can do reels once a day, every day for 5 days straight, I promise you, you will grow your Instagram page like that. Remember, these platforms favor videos. Make your quotes a video, make everything a video, and these platforms favor it. Okay. So part of promoting these on these social medias is making sure you say those keywords, podcasting, marketing, because they also do an audio SEO where they hear those keywords in your podcast and they make sure that they fall in line with those search engine terms when somebody is Googling it. Yeah, bet y'all didn't know that. SEO, it goes more beyond just typing a hashtag or typing the words in the actual wording. It goes to audio also. Next up is going to be the Headliner app. Again, I'm going to drop a link in the comments to let you guys know exactly. Oh, shoot. I'm going to drop a link in the comments to let you guys know how you can use Headliner to promote your podcast. I love hot Headliner. It is actually an app I found years ago. You can use Headliner to basically promote your podcast snippets. Of course, you can do this in iMovie or Premiere Pro. But for me, it is really quick and easy to just drop the RSS feed link to your podcast after it's already promoted, or you can upload the audio to it. It is a free site. It actually gives you 10 videos a month without their logo on it. So you don't have to worry about it saying like headliner in the bottom. Kind of like how it says StreamYard right there. You don't have to worry about it saying headliner in the corner because it actually allows you to make it without their logo 10 times a month. And like nobody's really doing 10 episodes a month. So definitely want to use headliner. Make those audio snippets so you can promote it on all social media, promote it on Twitter, and then you leave a little link that says, "Hey, you like this snippet, make sure you click this link and you can check out the full episode here." And instead of using a long Apple, a long Spotify link, you can just again sign up for a free Bitly account. That's bit.ly, bit.ly.com account, and you can make that large link a small link, and you also can keep track of how many people clicked it. Yeah, that's free game for you right there. Again, when you are promoting on your Instagram, you can also make Linktree links, and that way you can not only post a link to your podcast, but you can post a link episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. I think now that you get up to 30 links, so your most popular episodes, you can actually post on your bio, like in your Instagram bio, with a Linktree link and have every episode linked there if you want to. You would not believe how much that would actually help your podcast. Okay, so definitely look into Headliner. Again, you guys, I said I'm going to keep this short tonight. Everything is straight to the point. And if you use these skills, you will definitely be able to grow. None of this stuff, nothing in this life is going to be easy without hard work. So if you're going to be serious about podcasting and you really want to, make it work, definitely just write down these tips, write down these steps. I'm not saying do all of these because who got that much time? But I'm saying make sure that you take the time out to at least try a few of these and you have to see what works to you. Okay. What works for you. It might be just Instagram, it might be just Facebook. Whatever it is, you have to see what works for you. Some people I tell sometimes that they actually can promote their podcast on YouTube. YouTube is actually working with something called shorts right now. So if you put 1 or 2 minute, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever snippets of your podcast on YouTube and hashtag it shorts, you can even promote your podcast on YouTube. They tend to give a lot more views to their podcast. So you can do snippets like that. You can create an animation to go with what you're talking about. You could do one on whiteboard drawings that kind of talk about whatever you're talking about in the podcast. Make some type of visual element to it because most people don't really like a talking head. But if you're talking about something very interesting, people are definitely going to be here for it. Y'all here for it. All right, let's keep it moving on. Got a few more to go. Again, since I already talked about the snippets, we ain't even got to talk about that one. So we're gonna go ahead and talking about creating a website or blog. Okay. When people hear creating a website or a blog, they literally their heart drops. People think that creating a website is so hard, so tedious, whatever the case may be. Let me tell you, you can create a WordPress.com blog right now and set up in 5-10 minutes. If you want to figure out how to use it, it's so user friendly, it's easy, right? You can literally call a WordPress blog whatever you can. Marketing for everybody .wordpress.com. That's cool. If you don't want the WordPress on there and you really want to brand it up, you can pay $18 a year. That's it. You don't really need a lot of hosting, but if you just wanted to say, www mypodcast.com, that's what you can have it say, as long as that name is available. And you can just buy the name, and it's anywhere from $12 to $18 a year. Simple as that. Or you don't have to. Again, all you really care is that your podcast is able to be embedded into a blog post so that those words and those SEO words can be heard through Google and heard through the hashtag. I don't know, hashtag rainbow, whatever you want to call it. But when you make blog posts, you can also put hashtags. Well, I'm about to say H. You can also put hashtags on those blog posts. Do a little blurb, keep it under 100 words, post your episode, and then bam, people will literally listen to your podcast, see the little blurb, and keep it moving. So you definitely want to do that. One really, really good thing when it comes to websites is if you actually sign up for Buzzsprout, Buzzsprout actually gives you a free podcast website. And the good thing about having a website, whether you go ahead and pay for the domain name, again, $18 a year, or for free, you just keep it .wordpress.com for free. The good thing about putting episodes of your podcast into a website is on Buzzsprout, it pretty much looked like a landing page. So, what do I mean when I say a landing page? Basically, just one standard page, and everything you need is on that page. You don't need to look for lines or dots to try to go into other spaces on a website. It's just a complete landing page. You see your website, you see your podcast, you see the blurb, and then you see the links at the bottom. Buy my t-shirt here, click. Sign up for my Patreon here. Buy merchandise here, whatever the case may be. And like I was saying, a really good thing about having these websites is you can share other things on these websites. Like I just said, you can put links in there to your t-shirts. Maybe you might create a podcast t-shirt with some of your quotes on it that you say in your podcast. Maybe your t-shirts have hashtags on it that is your hashtag that you. Ooh, I just came up with that. That sounds like an idea. But yeah, maybe you can make t-shirts out of stuff you say in your podcast, stuff you always say, one of your famous sayings. You can sell other products, digital products, if you have a digital business online, whatever it is you selling. Especially affiliate links. I remember I told you guys in the how podcasts make money. I told you guys that you can get affiliate links and sign up with ClickBanks to get affiliate links. And so all these links and all this stuff you can actually put right into your podcasting website, and that will be another third or fourth way that you can promote your podcast in the whole blog sphere, right? So definitely want to look into that. Again, Do not try all of these things unless you're really about to just go hard in the paint. But you definitely want to see what works for you. Always see what works for you. Don't try to do too much because you will overwhelm yourself and it will begin to feel like work. All right, next up is branding. Branding is a way to promote your podcast on social media. I already explained this a little bit, but um, you definitely want to make sure you always stay on brand when it comes to your colors and your fonts and anything new. If you start a YouTube channel to promote, make sure it's the same name as your podcast. If you start the website, like I told you, make sure that website is at least close to, if the name is not taken, close to the same name as your podcast, right? Whatever you do and whatever you share online, even down to what your email address is, if people want to email you, make sure all the branding is correct and all the branding is the same for your podcast. Now, this is one of my favorite topics. And since I only got about 10 minutes left, this is my favorite one to talk about. If you guys really want to promote your podcast, what you want to do is either host a clubhouse room, start a clubhouse room, whatever the case may be, but you need to get on Clubhouse. Of course, this is only available to Apple iPhone users, but y'all see people starting to, jock Clubhouse style. So they started with Twitter Spaces, which still is only for certain people. But if you can find a way to get on Clubhouse, host a Clubhouse room, hell, even if you get on a Clubhouse stage and raise your hand, that could be a way for you to promote your podcast. Go on one of these podcast Clubhouse rooms, whatever it is, and you could get on there and promote your podcast. Because hey, let me tell you, at the end of the day, it's like anytime you're on the stage, everybody's going to follow you. If you're talking about something you're selling, if you're talking about whatever it is you talk about, people are going to be there for it. Okay, they're listening. They're going to follow you because everybody on Clubhouse is trying to build their network, and so that's why it says. That's why I say that hosting a Clubhouse room is going to get you those listeners, and it's going to get you those promotions, those affiliates, whatever it is, because you was on Clubhouse. They're going to click your profile. They're going to see what you do, all the stuff that you do, because ain't no limit to a Clubhouse bio. They're going to click on your social media. Bam. I just linked my podcast social media. They're going to click on your Twitter. They're going to click on your Instagram. All of this, remember, it's all the same brand. We already know who you are. Let me go check out her stuff. Let me go follow her hashtag. All this stuff all comes down to getting you listeners. And remember what I told you guys, the cost of making money on podcast is a price per thousand downloads, right? So every thousand downloads, that's how you get money, right? And you can charge anywhere from $25 to whatever when you start getting ads or affiliates or whatever. So if I got 10,000 downloads, 10,000 listeners a month, right? Downloads, listeners, same difference. If I'm getting that a month, right? 10,000. How much is that? 10 by 25 is 2500. Zero. It's a lot of money, basically. So that's how you have to look at it. And at the end of the day, if that is worth it to you, if the hard work is worth it to you, then you definitely want to do it. All right. So Um, if you guys want to ask any questions, you can put your questions down in the comments. I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to end this. I know we don't have any questions, right? Oh, I already talked about that. The last thing I was gonna talk about was the promoting snippets on YouTube. My production assistant just reminded me, aka my husband. But no, we already talked about promoting it on YouTube. I've said this before. I don't want to be really crazy about it, but unless you Kanye West, you don't want full length videos of your podcast on YouTube. You only want snippets on YouTube. And if you're going to record your podcast, maybe you want to also promote those recorded snippets for Instagram or for Facebook. You can even create like a Facebook watch. But, podcasting is for listening only. Okay. You have to remember that. Podcast is for listening only. And although you want to add visual elements, because we live in a visual world, we live in a world full of content, you have to remember that it is audio only. So you want to try your best to stick to just doing that audio. And remember that the audio is number one, and the video should only be used to promote. Again, you guys, I want you guys to go ahead and make sure you start on your podcast if you haven't. I'll be watching y'all in this room. Starting your podcast, sis. It is March. Okay, tomorrow is March 8th. Today is March 7th. It is March. Where you at on your podcast? Did you start your podcast yet? What's the name of it? Did you create your icon? Get all this stuff together. But I mean, just like I'm saying this to y'all, I need to be saying it to myself. I am only in the process of batch recording right now. I've been working on my intro for a whole week, but I'm hoping to launch April 1st. That is my goal. Remember, there is a goal calendar or a goal area in the files in that podcast planner. So you guys want to make sure you set those goals for yourself. I know people be busy. I know you be doing a lot of stuff trying to stay busy at home. A lot of you guys have classes or kids, or classes and kids, same thing to me. But you definitely want to make sure you guys can find that time, set an hour to the side to work on something for you. Set that time to the side, early Saturday, early Sunday, to, make something for you. So again, I'm going to leave this in the guides. I'm going to immediately add this to the guides. If you are new to the podcast group, Create Cast, I just want to say welcome. Make sure you guys follow through. I see some of y'all been going through. So proud, so happy. I am really trying to teach 100 people. I mean, it is my ultimate goal. I don't care if you make one episode. I do care, but because I don't want nobody to pop fade. But I want to see at least 100 podcasts created and started by December. So I need you guys to start on this podcast. If you need some motivational episodes, I will give you that. Again, we skipped last weekend because I was moving, but I am back. So next week, I'm thinking next week I'm going to probably do a live video about how to motivate yourself to start a podcast, because I ain't seen no podcast on this timeline yet. And we only here for one thing, y'all. We here to start a podcast. So if you have any questions, remember you can put those questions right below in bottom of this video. You can also put those questions on the wall. When I say I be monitoring this group heavy, I monitor this group heavy, y'all. I be like, anybody got questions? Anybody trying to get added to the group? Whatever it is, I can answer it. I'm learning more and more every day. Again, if you guys need any clubhouse invites, go ahead, invite me. Just kind of come in my inbox and I invite you. Anything else? Let me think. Promote. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Don't pay nobody. Make that money. Record that podcast. All right, guys. So again, I promise to keep it under 30 minutes, and it seems like I did that today. Look at me. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Start on that podcast. Stop playing games. Do what you came here to do. And I will see you guys next weekend.